Hi, welcome to the special Q&A recording of The Water Walker, one of the special event titles that we are very excited to present at the 45th Toronto International Film Festival. My name is Diana Sanchez, and I'm the Senior Director of Film at Tiff. I'm thrilled to be here today with Autumn Peltier, Grahm Greene, our director James Burns, and our executive producer Stevie Salas. I want to give a big thank you to our audience for joining us. As an organization still impacted by COVID, we need the support of our audiences so that we can continue to present films to future generations and preserve these diverse and important voices. I want to also mention that today's film is eligible for the IMD Pro Shortcuts Awards. And now I'd like to welcome our guests. I'm so pleased to have you here with us today. I want to start because this is a project that I know that came together with a lot of love, it's a support for Autumn's incredible work as a water activist. So Stevie, can you start, Stevie and James, telling us a little bit about how this project came to be, how you got this group of incredible people together to make this film?
I'll start, James. You know, sometimes on the side of all the other work we do, or on Six Nations, we often go into territories in northern Canada and that don't have any clean drinking water. And this is just something we do on the side for ourselves. And we put up a lot of money and time, and we go up and we go to places where people have no running water. No, you know, the last place we were at, people hadn't drinking water out of their lake in 44 years due to pollution. And we put in clean water systems with the help of a company called Sawyer Water and an organization called Give Clean Water. And while I was in Northern Ontario last time, I met a woman from the Anishinaabe Nation, and she told me about Autumn. And I said, I want to meet this girl. I have to meet this girl. So I contacted Autumn, and I was in Toronto, and she happened to be in Toronto, and we met, and we all had dinner. And I told James about this girl. I said, James, this is this amazing young girl. It's like a magic. She's like a magic person, right? It's not about the Kardashians, and it's not about her Jaguar or whatever. It's just like a girl who's driven to do something amazing, not for money or anything else. And she was like a magic little girl to me. And I thought, James, this is amazing. James, you know, very sensitive and a very creative director. And James and I had been working together for quite a while on other Indigenous stories. And James says, we got to do a film. So I went back to Six Nations to my partner there, and we raised some money, and we started this little project, knowing it was never going to be a moneymaker for us. But we wanted to spread awareness, and we wanted to share the world, tell the world about this magic young person, Autumn Peltier.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'll just echo kind of what Stevie said about Autumn being a very powerful voice, especially in the youth movement, but really all over the world. You know, when we look around today and we see and talk about environmental issues, I think that we're taking some steps forward in the right direction, but there still is a long way to go. I think there's a general sense of inertia and indifference that someone like Autumn could really help break through. And there's something very powerful about the youth today that are taking the future into their own hands. And she's emblematic of that movement. I'm really honored to be able to work on this, not only with Autumn, but, you know, with Stevie and Grahm, working with Indigenous voices and collaborators under their guidance, learning a lot more about the culture is very important, and it's been really amazing.
So Autumn, you've been working as a clean water activist for a couple of years. I know this film speaks to this, but can you talk about that motivation, what that moment was where you're like, I have to do something about this?
Well, I grew up living a traditional lifestyle, and my mother and my Auntie Josephine were always teaching me about the importance of water and the importance of being a woman and the connection you have being a female to the water. And so with that, living my traditional lifestyle, we were actually attending a water ceremony in a First Nation community that was not too far from mine. It's about an hour and a half from my First Nations community of Wiikwemkoong. And I asked my mom to go to the washroom while I was attending the water ceremony, and all over the walls said not for consumption, don't drink the water, boil water advisory. And so me being a child, knowing what it's like to drink water from my tap and having access to being able to use the water for everyday things, I was like, why can't we use the water here, and why can't we touch or drink the water? And so my mom explained to me that the community that we were in has been on a boil water advisory for over 20 years. And so although I was only 8 years old, it still kind of hit me a certain way, thinking that there was children that were my age and younger, not knowing what it's like to drink water from their taps or having no access to clean drinking water. And so that's one of the main parts of my motivation. But the other part of it is my Auntie Josephine. And as she was already doing the work that I'm doing right now, but seeing her get older and becoming more fragile and more ill and not being able to continue doing this work, that was my motivation. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
No, and we thank you, Autumn. Like, your work is so important, and it is so inspiring, I think, for so many people to see, someone of any age, but especially when you see the power of youth and that just that wisdom that you have moving forward. I think that's an inspiration for us all. And I think that's part of the power of film. Your story can be seen by more people. So what did you think when you were presented this idea of making this documentary about your work?
Well, my mom was the one who told me about it, and I thought it was really cool because, like you said, that is a way I can get my message heard, and that's kind of like everyone's going to see this. So I thought this is a really good opportunity to get my message out there. And I'm not going to lie, to be honest, I find when interviews, they're kind of I'm not a big fan of them, but there was something about this one that I felt like I really needed to do. And so, yeah.
And we're so happy you did. We really, really are. Grahm, I'm so delighted that you're here. Tell us about how you got attached to the project. I know you're the narrator. Tell us a bit about your relationship with the film and what drew you to this very special project.
Well, Stevie slickered me into it. No, I'm just kidding. No. When I heard Autumn speak for the first time about the problems with water, I grew up on the Six Nations, and there was a massive tire fire on, I guess, the north or the west end off the reserve, and that polluted everybody's well for miles. And I grew up knowing the fact that I could go out and with a cup and pump the water out of the well and have clean drinking water. And it disturbed me until I heard Autumn speak about it. And I'm so proud of you for doing this. Because when I was growing up, when I was your age, we didn't have the knowledge that we do now, that you do now about things, how the media works, and nobody listened to us anyway when we were kids. So this is just my way of adding my 2 cents to it. And I mean 2 cents. Because you're the biggest power that we have today.
Yes, I agree, very much so.
Can I add something really quick?
Of course, Stevie.
When Grahm found out, because we have a tight group of us guys, Grahm and Wes and Michelle Thrush and a whole bunch of us, and we travel around and we communicate a lot. And Grahm found out that I was up in the bush up there working on this water stuff. He says, "You need an elder up there." Like, you want to come up here? I mean, I'm getting eaten alive by black flies. He goes, you need an elder up there. I go, okay, I'm going to call you for when we work. So as soon as I called him about this, he was like, I'm in. And Graham, you know, and Graham is like, should we call him Sir Graham now? I mean, you're like a titled guy now, right, Graham?
Well, I'm a lord. I have land in Scotland, so I'm Lord Graham. and the Order of Canada. So this wears girders, which you should have one. Autumn should get one.
Yeah.
I swear. I'll do whatever I can to mention your name and get you an Order of Canada, because you deserve it. I don't deserve it, but I got one.
You know what's exciting to me though? Autumn has a lot of years of work ahead of her, like, which is very exciting. Like, this is just the beginning, and I find that very exciting to look forward to.
Yeah, well, her well is full. Mine's almost empty. So I don't have much time left on this planet. I went through a very bad operation on my leg. And Stevie called and says, can you come down to San Diego to do this voiceover? And my wife said, you don't want to go down there. And I said, I have to. This is extremely important.
It is very important. And one of the things that, Autumn, I noticed on your Instagram that you wrote about how this has been a gathering of family for you. And I wonder if you could talk to us a bit about that.
Could you
Yeah.
rephrase that?
I feel like the family component of making this film, it's beyond, it's like something important to you, the project, but also working with people that are so supportive.
Well, now she has three new uncles, and an aunt. And you are my niece.
Well, I think that has actually a really big part of it, because it's just like this one had a different feeling from like anything I've ever really done before. Like, I've had a documentary made on me before, but it's just like this one. It's like I feel like I grew another family, and I have I don't know. It's just I don't know how to explain it. It's just, yeah.
They came to you, my dear.
I will say this. Her mother called me and said, I had James Byrne visit with them in Canada and visit with the family. And James, being the intelligent, sensitive person he is, I wanted them to know who he was. I know he wasn't like a Hollywood, hey, you know, my mom and dad are filthy rich, but I understand your plight. I know how bad it is. You know, James is from the earth like us, and he's from the street like we are. And James went up there, and Autumn's mother called me. She goes, "We love James. He's like our family. He's like our son, or our brother. He's part of our family." So James, you know, really has a way of understanding the human experience, and for us, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it comes through in the film. James, this must have been a really special project for you. Do you want to talk a little bit about that aspect as well?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it. I think the most special part about this film was really bonding with Autumn and her mother and her sister Sierra, and learning about Josephine. And again, I like to tell human stories. And this just felt, you know, it felt right. You know, when Stevie and I first started collaborating, I had to be honest, you know, like, I asked Stevie, are you sure I'm the right one to kind of like tell some of these stories, you know, because, you know, culturally I'm not like in tune, you know, and I don't want to make any mistakes here. But Stevie and I, you know, under Stevie's guidance, really, we kind of navigate those situations, but telling human stories is really important for me. And I got so much love for Autumn and her mom and her sister. Like, they really are like family. We talk pretty much every day, and that's special. You know, when you're making a film, a documentary, pretty much everyone is like a family. You know, and sometimes when it's over, people leave and they go their separate ways. But you know, it's real when it's over, and you all still have that special connection that was there in the first place. And that's what this is. And the message is important. Again, I think the youth are. We all know that they're going to lead the future, but this generation is really going to make the change in such a critical time in the world. We're at a very critical point right now, and it's important that the youth lead the way right now. And that's what I found important and special, along with feeling like I was working with family.
What was the last line that we did that I insisted you keep in the script?
Oh yeah.
If we don't look after the children,
Now,
who will look after us?
now that the children are taking care of us, who will take care of the children? That was an important line for all of us, because if you notice what's going on in the world right now, the young people are marching in the streets while the old people are worried about their stocks, or they're fighting about things that are just like, I don't understand it. And James and I, this has been a recurring theme with James and I in a lot of our work. The youth is who's going to change the world. And we need to find those people and let them be heard and seen, because the mainstream media wants to squish them or turn them into some type of a propaganda tool. And that's, part of the reason Seeing Red Six Nations became a small film company, to start developing these things, so we can start seeing more of these things that we think are important. And it doesn't matter to me if the storyteller's green, purple, pink, black, white. I don't care. I care about the color of their heart, and how impassioned they are about the story, and what needs to be that's done. And if they're a fighter, like we're fighters. And we want to help Autumn's fight. Autumn's out there doing it. She's the one putting in the miles. She's the one getting on the airplane every day, traveling to Switzerland and to the United Nations, and and it's not easy. And but we want to help as much as we can.
Absolutely. It's critical that we elevate the young people that are leading this. It's been so wonderful to be able to talk to you all today. Autumn, it's such an honor. Grahm, James, Stevie, I loved being able to see your film, and I hope we continue many more. Grahm, do you have any final words?
Yeah, Stevie, James, and myself were elders in training. We should know better. She knows better than us.
Bravo.
All the stuff we took for granted growing up is disappearing on us. Things with the COVID-19, perhaps, what we couldn't do to change things. One little bug that we can't even see did all of this, changed everything. And my beautiful young niece here, she's going to change things. I wish we had the opportunity, if I could turn back the clock, to do what you did. And Autumn is incredible.
It is incredible. And you're right. With COVID, we have kind of realized how fragile everything is, and just how everything could be upended. So this is a critical time. Autumn, do you have any message that to young activists out there, or to younger generations, that you'd like to impart?
I think that a message I would like to leave with is probably that we need to keep on empowering and encouraging the youth to use their voices, because like I've said before, the youth are the leaders of today and tomorrow, and we're the ones who are going to have to pay for mistakes that adults are making. So it's just empowering the youth.
Absolutely.
We screwed it up.
Well, we will continue to do, yeah, well, we will continue to do that, Autumn. Thank you, all of you, for being with us here today. And bravo on a film and wonderful work. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks so
you
much
for
for having
having us.